I I have no words. This is wow. Just wow. I think we all owe Lee Linnell an apology. Lee Linnell, I'm sorry. Um, I apologize. Your Wolfman design is no longer the worst werewolf design I've ever seen. Jesus Christ, that's bad. Even a man who's pure of heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfsbane blooms and when the autumn moon is bright. You know, I will admit, I did this of my own accord. I felt like I've done nothing but review positive movies for a while, so I figure might as well start the new year with a bad one. But, um, as well as it being a werewolf movie, so we could bring back Like and Lunacy again. And let me tell you right now, this is, without question, without hyperbole, the worst werewolf movie I have ever seen. Okay, so Dark Wolf. Dark Wolf is a werewolf movie that was released in 2003, which, by the way, for anyone who watched my short first time watching video on this, I actually have to make a slight correction. Well, this was, I actually assumed that it was like made by a low budget production company, but no, this was apparently produced by 20th Century Fox. Their name is all over this. They were proud of this. You know what? Honestly, I'm not surprised. They're the same people who produced Dragon Ball Evolution and The Predator, but still, holy fuck. But yeah, information on this film is scarce. I was able to get a little bit of information thanks to watching the behind the scenes making of for this film that's on the DVD. The only thing I can factor is that the director said he wanted to do something similar to another low budget film made by Fox called Python. I don't even know what the hell Python is. And apparently I hear that's not good either, so but whatever. And that's really about it. I don't know how this thing happened. I don't know why it happened, but it really shouldn't have happened. Good God, this movie is horrible. But okay, enough screwing around. What is the plot of this thing? Dark Wolf is about, it takes place in LA, and it's about this werewolf, dressed up as a biker for some reason, played by Kane Hodder. Yes, that Kane Hodder, who's trying, apparently this guy's like, not a normal werewolf though, he's a dark wolf, or the dark wolf, or whatever. Apparently, hundreds of years ago, werewolves mated with a human and created a hybrid species that is, I guess, more powerful than the standard werewolves or some shit like that. Kane Hodder here is the last hybrid of his kind. So he wants to find another werewolf, who we find out is a woman named Josie. And he wants to mate with her so he can keep the werewolf hybrid bloodline alive. And we follow a LA police officer who tries to protect her. Which, by the way, I might be talking out of my ass here, but If you're making a horror film, especially a werewolf horror film, you should probably not bring the concept of mating into it. Mating isn't entirely an unknown thing. I believe it became popular with a lot of werewolf werewolf romance novels that you usually see for like 2.50 at a dollar store or something. Um, and for those kind of stories, that's fine. If you're going for a romance story, whatever, it's a bit dumb, but okay. But if you're going for a horror film, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to take the werewolf seriously when his main goal is that he just wants to get it on with this random chick. I'm just saying, it's really kind of takes out the fear that you're supposed to feel. I mean, unless maybe you make it an allegory for sexual assault or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're going for like a serious tone, you bringing up mating into your werewolf lore is not really the best idea. Okay, okay. Is there anything good in this movie? Very few. I guess some of the acting is fine. Um, but like, but most of them are like just fine at best, and at worst, they're like laughably bad. Like I've seen better acting in a state in middle school plays, kind of bad in terms of acting. I guess the werewolf costume, at least for the dark wolf, looks all right. It actually, in fact, looking at the behind the scenes and making of, the suit itself actually looks really cool. Too bad we don't see much of it due to the obnoxious editing, but we'll get to that. And if you're really that desperate, at the risk of sounding immature, this movie has shit tons of scenes of naked women. So, I mean, hey, if that's your thing, then just really go to Pornhub. Don't track this movie down. Like, just don't. I think oh, uh Kane Hodder's decent. He doesn't get a lot of lines, but I mean it's cool that Kane Hodder's in this. It makes you wonder. They only have Kane Hodder play the werewolf in his human form. They never have him as the guy in the werewolf costume, which I found odd. I mean, you cast Kane Hodder in your movie, and Kane is no stranger to wearing makeup and practical effects. So why didn't you just like have him in the monster costume? Why did you have to cast somebody else to be in the monster costume? It just I don't get it. And that's pretty much all I got for positives. Everything else in this movie is horrible. Holy fuck, is this bad? Where do I even fucking start with this? Well, well, for starters, like, this movie is just like so bad on so many levels. The direction is awful. Like, um, the editing and camera work is also obnoxious. Especially whenever the werewolf is on screen. Like, whenever the werewolf is attacking people, instead of like actually showing the werewolf, they'll do like these quick edits and zoom outs and everything. It's like, I mean, it feels like Edgar. Um, it feels like if Edgar Wright had directed a film after being locked in a basement for like 12 years. Like, I just, oh my god. Um, the the Dark Wolf himself, the main villain of the film, the werewolf costume, like I said, looks fine. But as you'll see in this video's intro, the other werewolf effects, in particular on Josie, look horrible. It doesn't even look like a fucking werewolf. It looks more. It looks more like rejected concept art for that remake of Cat People that came out in the 90s. Christ, this movie. Oh, fuck. I also think like this may have been like a porno at some point or something like that. Because like I said, there are a lot of scenes of naked women in this movie, and there's literally this one scene where these two guys who take pictures of nude women for like I don't know, like uh, art or something like that. They decide to paint these two women up, make them look like monsters, I guess, and have them do all these seductive poses on the roof of the building, and the girls start making out of nowhere. Um, and it's like intercut between the scene of a guy slowly approaching an obvious like danger that's nearby, and it's like, why are we? It feels like it takes like 30 minutes. The entire scene, it just drags on and on and on. I was like, can you please move on? For fuck's sakes. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not a prude, okay? You're talking to a fan of the Friday the 13th movies. I'm not against nudity or sex in a horror film. You know what I mean? But like, Friday the 13th like doesn't like waste so much time. Like none of the Friday the 13th movies waste like what feels like 30 minutes just showing off a naked woman or a sex scene. Like, they actually want to tell a story, or at least get to the carnage, like what most Friday the 13th fans are looking for. None of the sex appeal in those films like grind the film to a halt. The sex appeal in this film does, and it's just like, I don't. Why does this have Fox's name on it? I just don't understand it. What is this? What is this? What is this? Okay, I'm chill. I'm cool. I'm fine. Cool. Um, the the makeup and practical effects, I guess, look all right. Um, I mean, like, but there aren't like any really creative or inventive kills at all. I guess the gore effects look all right, but it's nothing like on par with Terrifier or even an American Werewolf in London, for that matter. Like, the other werewolf effects, especially the CGI, looks abysmal. I mean, just look at I actually recorded this. I actually recorded the video you're about to see while I was watching it. This might just be one of the worst transformation scenes I have ever seen in any werewolf movie. Look at this shit. I was like dumbfounded. Like, I've seen bad CGI, I've seen shitty werewolf transformations, but holy fuck. Like, just wow. Just wow. And, I can imagine, like, maybe some people looking at that and saying, well, I mean, come on, Zach, it's a low-budget horror film, back off. No. Like, even by low-budget standards, even for a werewolf movie, this is bad. If you don't have enough money to make a good transformation scene, don't show the transformation scene. This is not fucking rocket science. last Like and Lunacy video I made was on the film Dog Soldiers, which is a fucking amazing movie, by the way. Like, you don't even need to go, like, don't even bother seeing my review. Just go watch it yourself if you haven't already. But like, that film did not show a lot of the transformation scenes because Neil Marshall knew that they really didn't have it in the budget. So he made the transformation scenes off screen. It's lame, but it's a good workaround. Um, Especially because if Neil Marshall didn't do that, the transformation scene in Dark Wolf is an example of what it would have looked like. Like, a good director is able to find good workarounds for low budgets. Just Tobe Hooper did that for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. John Carpenter did that for Halloween. Wes Craven did that for a bunch of his films in the early days, like The Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes. Just because your film is low budget doesn't excuse it for being shit. What makes the effects even more laughable is that they can't even keep the design of the Dark Wolf itself consistent. Whenever you see the actual costume, it looks like a werewolf you would see in something like, say, An American Werewolf in London, but not as good in terms of quality. But whenever the Dark Wolf is like running around, it looks like a regular wolf with some awful CGI that reminded me of that shadow cat monster from Devil May Cry. Now, admittedly, the movie does have at least some interesting ideas. I actually think the main character of the film, or Josie, or at least one of the main leads, I actually think her story could be very interesting. She is discovering that her family are werewolves. She's inheriting her lycanthropy and even transforms 2 times. You could actually create a really interesting character around that. Maybe do something where Josie sees herself as a monster and is afraid that she'll hurt the fucking cop that's protecting her in the film. But like, that's never brought up at all. Like, they don't do anything interesting with her character. It really just feels like a dollar store version of Sarah Connor from The Terminator. Right down to Josie fighting the werewolf on her own at the end. Like, the only difference here is that the werewolf isn't split in 2 or anything. It's like, I don't fucking know. This movie is just so bad. Oh god. And the worst part of it too is that this movie is so bad you can't even enjoy it in a so bad it's good way. I mean, there are some scenes that are laughably terrible, like the transformation scenes, but for the most part, it's just boring. The characters are bland and generic. And when they're not bland and generic, they're being fucking idiots. There are multiple times in this movie where these characters do the dumbest fucking shit. Like, for fuck's sakes, this movie. I'm running out of things to, like, say here. It's just so bad. It's just... Oh, for fuck's sakes. And, like, it's... just everything in the movie is a dumpster fire. Like... I mean, I almost want to apologize. No, I want to apologize to An American Werewolf in Paris after seeing this. Because, I mean, at least that film gave me more to, like, talk about. But, like, with this film, like, there's only so many times I could say that, like, the effects are terrible It's boring. The acting is awful. Like, just, there's nothing even interesting in this. This is just a full-on black fucking hole. I have never sat through a werewolf movie where I was this, or any movie in a while that left me this dumbfounded. Is it the worst movie I've ever seen? No. Although it definitely will be in a top 10 if I ever make one. I mean, compared to some of what I consider the worst movies I've ever seen, which are the movie Cats, the remake of I Spit on Your Grave, Madam Web, The Haunting of Molly Hartley. I mean, those films are worse, hands down. Like, I would never want to sit through any of those again. But, like, this is just, there are just no words. It is wretched. Oh, Christ. What's worse, too, is that the movie can't even take advantage of some of its good ideas. Like, I actually thought, like, because, Josie's a werewolf, I actually thought maybe the climax would play into that. Like, Josie would transform, and then we would get a full-on werewolf fight. That would actually be really fucking cool. She transforms twice in the film, and that's it. The whole plot point behind this damn movie is for the Dark Wolf to mate with this werewolf chick, and they don't give us a werewolf fight. You couldn't even give us that? What is this? What is this? I got nothing more to say. This is one of the worst werewolf movies I've ever seen. Everything in this film sucks. The acting is awful. The characters suck. The gore is subpar at best. The werewolf costume looks decent, but it's barely on screen, so it doesn't even fucking count. The editing is obnoxious. Everything in this movie is an epic fucking fail. Dark Wolf gets an F minus. This is easily the worst movie I think I've reviewed on this channel so far. It's that bad. Fuck this movie. Please, for love of God, do not watch it. Like, I think I paid like $2 or $3 for the DVD off of eBay. That's way too much for this shit. So, Dark Wolf, were you the poor bastard that saw this movie? Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are. If you like what you see here, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. I'm Zach the Movie Fan, and thank God I'm reviewing The Curse next week. Ugh, so bad.